Everyone thinks the camera industry moves slowly, but when Nikon drops a flagship, the entire professional world stops and listens. And right now, there's one name quietly dominating conversations in studios, sports arenas, wildlife camps, and filmmaker forums across the US, the Nikon Z9 II. This isn't just another camera rumor. This feels like Nikon is preparing something that could completely shift the balance of power in pro photography and high-end video. Because the Nikon Z9 was already a monster, a camera that embarrassed competitors with insane autofocus, zero shutter blackout, 8K recording, and speed that felt almost illegal. So the real question is, what happens when Nikon takes a camera like that and upgrades it? That's why the Z9 II isn't exciting just because it's new. It's exciting because it could be Nikon's most aggressive statement yet. A warning shot to Sony and Canon that the flagship war isn't over. And the leaks? They're getting louder. Let's start with the biggest reason the Nikon Z9 II has professionals paying attention: speed and power. The Z9 proved something important. Nikon can build a mirrorless body that doesn't feel like mirrorless. It feels like a purpose-built weapon. But insiders suggest Nikon isn't trying to reinvent the Z9. They're trying to evolve it into something even more unstoppable. Think about it. The Z9 already pushed 20 frames per second RAW, insane high-speed bursts, and next-level tracking. But in 2026, photographers don't just want fast. They want instant. They want camera response time so quick it feels like mind-reading. The Nikon Z9 II is expected to come with a next-level processing upgrade, meaning more computing power dedicated to autofocus prediction, subject lock, and tracking accuracy, especially in chaotic scenes like sports, birds in flight, and low-light moving subjects. And if you've ever missed a perfect shot by a split second, you already know why this matters. Now here's where things get spicy. One of the hottest whispers around the Nikon Z9 II is the sensor technology. Some rumors point toward Nikon pushing readout speed even further, possibly approaching something close to a global shutter-style performance. Now, whether Nikon calls it global shutter or not, the point is this: if Nikon can reduce rolling shutter even more than the Z9 already did, it becomes terrifying for every competitor. Because rolling shutter is the silent killer of professional video and high-speed photography. It's the difference between a perfect shot and a warped nightmare. So if the Z9 II improves sensor readout speed drastically, it's not just an upgrade, it's a statement. It means fast pans and video look clean. It means sports action freezes like reality. It means drones, handheld movement, high-speed tracking. Everything becomes more cinematic and more reliable. And the people who make money with cameras, they don't pay for hype. They pay for consistency. But autofocus is where Nikon could truly drop the hammer. The Z9 already shocked people with its subject detection. But here's the truth. In 2026, good autofocus isn't enough. We are entering the era where autofocus is basically artificial intelligence. And Nikon knows this. Leaks suggest the Z9 II will feature refined, deep learning-based subject detection, meaning it won't just detect faces or eyes. It will lock onto intention. The difference is subtle but huge. Not just tracking a bird, tracking the bird even when branches cross in front. Not just tracking an athlete, tracking them through clutter, motion blur, sweat, helmets, stadium lighting, and chaos. Nikon's new firmware updates already prove they are heavily investing into smarter tracking. So logically, the Z9 II becomes the platform where Nikon goes all in. This could be the first Nikon camera where autofocus feels unfair, like cheat mode. And then we get into video. Because the truth is, the Z9 II isn't just for photographers. Nikon is building an empire in video. They own Red now, and that changes everything. When a company owns both high-end cinema technology and flagship mirrorless bodies, something dangerous happens. Features start transferring. And that's exactly why Z9 II leaks are so exciting. People expect improved internal 8K capabilities, possibly higher frame rate options, better heat management, and cleaner workflows. Even if it stays evolution, the Z9 II could become the perfect hybrid for creators who want Hollywood-level output. without dragging around cinema rigs. Imagine documentary filmmakers, wedding filmmakers, YouTubers, music video creators, people who need high-end video but also want photography power in the same body. The Nikon Z9 II could become the ultimate hybrid monster, and hybrid cameras are dominating the industry right now. One of the most underrated reasons professionals want the Z9 II is reliability and workflow. Nikon users aren't just buying specs, they're buying confidence. They want a camera that won't crash, won't overheat at the worst time, won't lose focus on a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Nikon's flagship bodies are built like tanks, and the Z9 II is expected to follow that tradition with stronger internals, refined stability, and faster data handling. That also means better support for high-speed memory and optimized recording efficiency. Because at the flagship level, speed isn't only about frames per second. It's about how fast your camera can clear the buffer, how quickly it writes data, how smoothly it handles massive 8K files, and how hard you can push it before it breaks. And the Z9 II could push that ceiling way higher. Now let's talk about the real reason everyone cares. Should you wait or buy now? Because the Nikon Z9 is still incredible. In fact, Nikon keeps upgrading it through firmware like they're trying to stretch its life on purpose. And that's the interesting clue. Nikon is not rushing. Multiple sources suggest the Nikon Z9 II is not launching in 2025, and there's strong talk that Nikon may be timing the successor for 2026 instead. That delay could mean one of two things. Either Nikon wants the Z9 to continue dominating as is, or Nikon is waiting to drop the Z9 II only when it's truly worth it. And if you're Nikon, that's the smarter play. You don't replace a flagship just because time passes. You replace it when you can embarrass everyone again. And make no mistake, when Nikon replaces a flagship, they're not playing safe. Nikon is fighting for the top, and the Z9 II could be their chance to grab the crown in both photo and video. Imagine Canon's sports shooters, Sony's wildlife creators, filmmakers who switch to mirrorless, all watching Nikon quietly refine a camera that could outperform everything in real-world use. That's why rumors around the Z9 II are spreading so fast. Because professionals don't fear a new camera. They fear a camera that changes the industry. Nikon already proved with the Z9 that they can disrupt. The Z9 II could be disruption turned into domination. So if you're waiting for the Nikon Z9 II, here's the honest truth. It's likely going to be worth it, but only if Nikon keeps the most important promise: speed without compromise, autofocus without doubt, video without overheating drama, and a flagship experience that feels like pure power every time you hold it. And if even half of these leaks are true, the Nikon Z9 II might be the camera that forces the entire market to respond. Because Nikon isn't just upgrading a camera here, they might be upgrading the entire standard of what a flagship should be. So now I want to ask you this. If Nikon announces the Z9 II tomorrow, are you upgrading instantly, or do you think the Z9 is still enough? Drop your answer in the comments, because I guarantee this debate is about to explode.